Okay, so this video is going to be going over the digital triggers in a little bit more detail. This is definitely something that a lot of people have run into issues with, and so I'm making this video to hopefully address any issues with this and maybe give you some tips on how to succeed with this. So, first thing I'd say is get some tweezers. They will help a lot. So let's go through this step by step. The first thing is I'm going to take these plugs and I'm going to stick it into our trigger. And we want to make sure it's completely flush all the way around. Same thing with the left trigger. And I'm not worried too much about alignment just yet. The next step, we're going to take our trigger. And this is something that you may want to look at. Something that has come up with a couple of these now that I've seen. Not on any of my own, but it's still worth noting is that there are these little feet that stick out. It may be easier if you trim those. So if you get some wire snippers, and again, this is optional, but you can trim those. And I'm not going to do that here, but it may or may not help you, depending on your setup. But for this, we're going to proceed without doing the trimming. But that is an option. So there's a side of this that has a small little tab up top, and this is going to go to the bottom of the trigger, this curved part away from the notch. And we're going to plug this in, and you want to make sure you press pretty firm. There should be no gap between the switch and the trigger. This needs to be fully flat. Give it some extra force if you need to. That's okay. And then from here, you can try to straighten it out the best you can. It's actually okay if this notch is a little bit tilted towards but you do want to try to kind of get that straight as you can. And let's repeat this for the other side. Plug it in. And even this much space right there is still too much. You need to push it pretty firmly. Make sure everything is seated correctly. So that's how it should be. Okay. Now we're going to focus on putting this into the rear shell. So let's get the rear shell. We're going to focus on aligning these. So stick the trigger in. And this alignment right here is a very important part. Let me see if I can show you exactly how this goes. There's a small tab. It's a little plus shape piece, half plus shape piece. And that PCB should sit with its little notch that we used for alignment, should just sit perfectly in there. So I'll try to give you a few angles on that so you can see what that looks like when it's perfectly seated. And from this point, the trigger should click. Let's do this on both sides. So they're both clicking. Now what? We want to think about how the cables are going to need to be routed to plug in. So the first thing I want to note is the orientation of the notch on these connectors is lined up. So they're both facing the same way, that way. So I want to take this cable and kind of route it around in such a way where the cable is kind of in the right position with the notch facing the correct direction. That will make the installation a lot easier when you flip this over. Then same thing for here. I'm going to try to curl the cable around to where I need it to be. And I'm going to try to get that notch in the correct direction. So these are both still in place as they should be. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from this side, the left side of the controller, but the right side looking down. And I'm going to put this over the top. And you'll notice I haven't put the Z buttons in yet. That is intentional. And so I can see the connector through. And this is where I'm going to reach through with my tweezers. I definitely pointed these the wrong direction because the notches should actually be going the other way. So that's okay because I was looking at it upside down. Just going to twist these around. Sorry about that, but that's part of the process, is taking your time, making sure you have everything correct. Everything's still in place, so let's go ahead and do that one more time. And we're going to start with the side that has same side. So I'll get this in focus. And then what I want to do is I just want to grab that connector, the cable, and kind of move it to the connector. And push just a little bit. And now I can come in with my finger and push it all the way until it clicks. And that's solid. Now I'm going to come to the other side. We'll lift up the side just a little bit, and we're going to do the same thing. Put the cable into the connector and push just a little bit. Come in with my finger and finish the job. Now I can get my Z buttons. And I'll put in the left side first, and this is the small notch. We'll go towards the front shell. Stick that in place. Do the same thing for the other side. Stick that in place and sandwich the controller together. Make sure everything's feeling good. Both of these are clicking pretty well. So let me get my T8 driver, and I'm going to take screws and put the shell halves together. And we'll make sure everything is working like expected. Both of these are clicking perfectly. Let me plug it into the configuration app. There's one final step that you'll need to do to get this set up. Connect it to the configuration app. Go to triggers, and we're going to disable the analog triggers for both sides. There is a disable option. Let me show you both of those. There we go. So you want to make sure those are both disabled. And hit save. The other thing you may want to set is you may want to set the digital to analog value. If you want this to output a specific analog value, you can set that here. Otherwise, it'll just do the full press. So now we can go back, we can go to remap, and we can confirm our L2 and R2 buttons are pushing correctly. And that's about everything. If you have any other questions on this process, you can join our Discord, and that's probably the best place to get support on this. And I hope that clears some things up. I know it's not always easy to convey everything through video, but we'll try. And thanks for watching.